Welcome to Synergy Flavors Trendcast episode 17. I'm Alex Masumoto. I'm a marketing associate at Synergy in the US. And in this episode, we're going to talk about holiday flavors around the world. And to contribute to that great discussion, we have a very cross-functional and international team today that I would like to give them a chance to introduce themselves. So, Natalie, can we start with you?
Yep. Hi, I'm Natalie Shiel and I'm category manager for sweet goods at Synergy Flavors in the UK.
Hi, I'm Marco Zanni. I'm based in Italy. I'm the sales representative for Southern Europe for Synergy.
Hi, I'm Bruna, marketing analyst from Synergy Brazil.
Hi, I'm Casey Cooter, marketing communication specialist at Synergy US.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. So can we start with you, Natalie? I know you have some information to share about the UK and Europe overall. So Natalie, could you tell us a little bit of what's traditional there during Christmas time?
Yeah, sure, Alex. So the traditional flavors in the UK are really built on three main ingredients, and those ingredients are dried fruits, alcohol, and spices. So the most traditional desserts that we enjoy in the UK are mince pies, Christmas pudding, and Christmas cake. So mince pies and Christmas pudding can actually be traced back to the 13th century when European travellers came back to the UK and they brought with them meat pies with fruit and spices from the Middle East. So this savoury Christmas pie was served at Christmas time, and it was really became a symbol of wealth for people in the country. Since then, so from Victorian times, it was slightly adapted to make into a sweet treat that we know today. So lots of dried fruit and alcohol, as I mentioned, sugar and spices that make up mince pies and Christmas pudding. There's actually also an old tradition that states if you eat a mince pie from the 25th of December right up to the 12th night, you'll have happiness and good luck for the rest of the year. And the Christmas cake was often made as a way to use up the leftovers from a Christmas pudding recipe. So people would be making Christmas puddings and have a little bit left over, and they would add in eggs and flour to make a traditional fruit cake, which was served either on the 12th night or sometimes it would be saved until Easter time because it preserved very well. In kind of modern times, mince pies are traditionally enjoyed with a Christmas drink. Kids often leave mince pies out for Santa alongside the carrot for the reindeer. And the Christmas pudding is actually set alight with brandy on Christmas Day as the kind of centerpiece and the finale for Christmas dinner. But in recent times, it's become clearer that younger consumers are actually moving away from more traditional flavours. Mince pies are actually to everyone's taste, and the Christmas pudding can be quite stodgy as well. So according to a survey in 2019, more than half of Britons believed that old traditions were fading, and actually only 25% of them said that they would be eating a traditional Christmas dinner. So UK manufacturers are trying to keep these traditions alive by offering new variants of the old flavours. So we're seeing mince pies really becoming the star of the show. So we're seeing them in products like cookies, in yogurts, ice cream, and even things like gin. And actually probably the strangest one I've seen is breakfast cereal, mince pie flavoured breakfast cereal. We've also seen the Christmas pudding being kind of taken to the next level with new flavours. So puddings are being offered with flavours like chocolate orange, burnt caramel, and even plum and pink gin as well.
And Natalie, are you over the last few years, are you seeing any new emerging flavors or formats or some new products that are being launched in the market that were not typically considered holiday flavors in the UK?
Yeah, definitely, Alex. So as we've learned from the classics, us Brits really like our alcohol in Christmas desserts. So that's definitely become a staple part of Christmas celebrations. But we're actually starting to see new products that are using alcohol to really push the boundaries in different products. So the beverage category is becoming a bit of a source of inspiration for things like bakery products and desserts. So this year we've seen things like a Bucks Fizz cocktail marmalade with the addition of Prosecco. We've seen a Tipsy Stollen, which is a twist on the classic German cake, and actually a peach Bellini panettone as well. We've also seen a cake that's been influenced by chai tea, so lots of inspiration from the beverage category. Another beverage that's obviously popular around Christmas time is mulled wine or any kind of mulled drink. So we're seeing mulled spices coming into other beverages and other desserts as well. So we've seen things like a mulled sloe gin and actually alcohol-free variants. So a mulled winter spice fruit punch as well. On the other hand, we've seen desserts also being a source of inspiration for beverages as well. So Five Guys in the UK have actually launched a brand new festive menu. So they have new milkshakes based on Christmas pudding, on a classic British trifle, and lots of other classic British desserts. And also Costa Coffee and Starbucks in the UK have launched amazing new indulgent drinks. So they have chocolate orange inspired and chocolate mint, and these are all kind of based on classic confectionery that we would see in the UK around Christmas time. So lots of exciting innovation happening, but we don't tend to stray too far away from the classics in the UK, as we're still liking those mince pies and the puddings at Christmas time.
Thank you, Natalie. And continuing in Europe, Marco, I know you have also some insights to, based on different countries in Europe too. So could you tell us a little bit of what's traditional in other countries in Europe?
Yeah, sure. Since I'm in charge of Southern Europe, I will talk today about Italy, Spain, and France. They are neighbor countries, but food culture is a bit different. The common thing is that we like sit around the table for Christmas and have fancy food, because Christmas is once a year. In Italy, we will have filled pasta. We will have panettone, of course, which is now popular everywhere, and nougat. When in Spain, they will also have tapas, but with fancy ingredients, with truffle, with wild mushrooms. They will have ham, and they will have suckling pig, and also nougat as well. In France, they will have foie gras, nice seafood like oysters, like salmon. Salmon is also typical in Spain and Italy. And bûche de Noël, which is a chocolate cake that looks like a branch. So what's common in these countries is that we will have lots of desserts, lots of sweets, based on dried or candied fruits, and honey and cinnamon also. If you just think about hot wine, it's cinnamon based.
And Marco, thinking about all the situation that we live in with COVID-19, do you think that changed a little bit of the consumer habits around holiday flavors for this year over Spain, Italy, and France?
Yes, Alexander, absolutely, because people have lower income, because people can't do sports, gyms are closed, swimming pools are closed. So we need this year to eat lighter, healthier, and also cheaper. The trend I've seen is that there is a twist of traditional dishes with light and healthy ingredients, but without compromising the fine taste and aesthetics, because we care about it. Also, for the same reason, we will drink alcohol, but with less alcohol content. That's for the same reason. We won't have a wine or beer belly for Christmas, just simply because we can't do much sports. For this year, I've seen an increase of legumes, cereals, soy, and vegetables, for the reason I explained before. So to have lighter food and to get proteins not from meat but from veggies or legumes. And also in Italy, Spain, and France, we eat lots of bread, and we will use alternative flours or whole flours like kamut, like chickpea, like spelt, or activated charcoal, to be more light and easy to digest.
Thanks, Marco. And moving to Bruna now, I think Bruna from Brazil, and I know panettone is a big traditional flavor there. And Marco mentioned that of course, coming from Italy, Natalie mentioned that the flavor and the panettone itself it's growing in popularity in the UK too. So Bruna, Could you tell us a little bit about the background of Panetone in Brazil? Because I think it's pretty interesting.
In Brazil, panetone is the most traditional food at Christmas, and it represents family connection, affection, and Christmas bond. Panetone is a sweet bread filled with dried fruits, raisins, candied fruits, and with vanilla flavor. And in Brazil, it's a soft consistency as the result a natural fermentation process. And as Marco said, it's originally from Italy and arrived in Brazil with the Second War when Italian immigrants arrived in the country. As a curiosity, Brazil is the third country that mostly consumes panetone in the world. And we have one of the largest panetone producers in the world called Balduco. Panetone has a penetration rate of 53% in the houses in Brazil. And the per capita consumption is around 440 grams per year. It's like a home panetone per habitant. Panetone, it's like a traditional, but chocolate is the great protagonist in Brazil because of younger audience that love and the chocolate lovers, and the fillings and toppings is a lot of tradition in Brazil, but it's gives to panetone a way to be stuffed. And the main flavors are chocolate chips, truffled chocolate, milk, and caramel. Talking about new ingredients, raisins, apricot, plum, almond, hazelnut, and Cranberry is the main emergent ingredients in Brazil. And also natural fermentation. It's a strong trend that adds different flavors and offers a rustic characters to the products.
And Bruno, I think the same question that I asked the others: is there any new flavors or any new trend that is emerging in Brazil lately that you could share with us?
So the most common is the chocolate in panetone. As I said, chocolate chips, brigadeiro, truffle chocolate, and adding new ingredients as raisins, apricot, plum, almond, and cranberry too.
Awesome, thank you. And now I think sticking with the Americas and now moving to UKC. Could you share a little bit of what's traditional in the US, or if there are any major trends that have been shaping the holiday flavors in the US over the last couple of years?
Sure, Alex. One thing that I think is interesting to note is when you look at the traditional emerging flavors of different regions globally, there's a driving sense of nostalgia that really influences the evolution of traditional holiday food and drink. This is something that's especially true within the United States, with 70% of consumers stating that they purchase food and beverage that specifically reminds them of their past. We all know that there is such a strong connection between food, drink, and emotion, and the holiday season is an opportune time to really tap into that, whether it's looking into different memories or bringing about flavors from traditional or cultural family meals, tapping into childhood experiences. Nostalgia really brings about a sense of comfort, which I think is something that all of us could use a little bit more of, given the year that all of us just had. But this is something that we have had our eyes on at Synergy for a few years now, with the emergence of the unicorn and other fanciful flavor trends, as we talked about in our last Trendcast. And we were actually able to tap into this and create our own spin on a nostalgic holiday flavor by creating a sugar plum flavor. Before we get into anything about emerging flavors, it's really important to look at the traditional flavors that are the foundation for any sort of inspiration or innovation that we see around the holiday season. One of the top flavors that we see that really comes true within food, beverage, and nutrition this time of year is gingerbread. The sweet brown notes is a classic holiday flavor that people have come to know and really associate with this time of year. It also helps with the availability of gingerbread house making kits, something we've seen an uptick of given people choosing to stay home for the holiday season this year. We actually have an example here on this slide of a gingerbread house that one of our account managers made this past season with her family. Other flavors that we see that really make the foundation of traditional flavors within the US around Christmas are things such as classic cookie flavors, whether it's sugar cookie or even looking into different blends of mint and chocolate, peppermint mocha. Those are all things that have been really attached to the holiday season. And we really see that come to life in different beverages that you can purchase at some of our bigger coffee shops, such as Dunkin' with their signature peppermint mocha latte, Starbucks, and other coffee houses across the United States. Other flavors that are worth noting, especially on the fruitier side, is cranberry. This is something that really gets amped up around Thanksgiving with traditional cranberry sauce or other types of beverages being mixed with orange or other types of holiday fruits. But, you know, I don't think it would be the holiday season if we didn't mention eggnog. This is something that is a staple beverage across US households, even globally. But we're starting to see new limited edition versions of these products come out, such as Hood's product, their caramel eggnog, as you see on the screen. So when we look at emerging flavors, we see a lot, again, of those foundational flavors, but also things that are getting amped up a little bit based on some of the trends, especially nostalgia that we talked about earlier. Breakfast cereal is something I know we mentioned earlier, seeing a lot of innovation around it within the UK, but in the US, we see a lot of strong pull with the nostalgia, tapping into the millennial heartstrings. Here we have an example of some cereals that really tap into the holiday season, such as the Elf cereal, you know, really based off of the famous Will Ferrell movie. And also Cinnamon Toast Crunch, taking a little spin and making a sugar cookie toast crunch. So again, tapping into those traditional holiday flavors with a little bit of spin on packaging. We're also seeing other brands who may not traditionally play in the holiday category, just given the nature of the product, but hard seltzers are really jumping in this year. As we see with Bud Light seltzers, they came out with an ugly sweater holiday pack. That's really a fun play on different fruit line extensions. They have an apple crisp, a cranberry, as we mentioned before, a ginger snap, and also a peppermint option. We're seeing a strong pull towards the Roaring 20s with the start of a new decade this year that everyone is really excited about. So we can anticipate to continue to see pulls of different cocktails or other non-alcoholic beverages that tap into the flavors of the Roaring 20s, as we see here with the French 75 RTD canned cocktail. Something else that we're seeing take evolution within the United States is craft beverage experiences. And this really taps into different ways to play with flavor in terms of processing. Starbucks this year, two of their holiday beverages is their caramel creme brulee latte and a toasted white mocha latte. Both of those really give the connotation of taste and texture and experience, with toasted, or the brulee, you know, is known as a burnt cream. So really tapping into the different sensory effects of how processing can evolve or may even make a flavor a little bit more sophisticated. Other things that we see this time of year that's been really amping up in recent years are different spice blends. Botanicals, spices, herbs, these are all flavor profiles that have been growing within the US, especially among millennial consumers. And we continue to see that across food and beverage, but especially craft beer jumping into the holiday season with Sam Adams, you know, the original craft beer, as it's been dubbed, in their winter lager, having, I believe it's ginger and cloves, perhaps cinnamon, blended in within their product to create really nice beer reminiscent of the winter holiday season.
Very interesting, Casey. You actually reminded me that I have to try the new creme brulee latte because it's been on my list, but I haven't tried that one yet. But yeah, I think the idea for this episode was to bring fun and interesting concepts that are either traditional in different regions in the world, but also giving you a perspective of what's emerging, what's new, what brands are doing to kind of innovate during this time of the year that we all know that it's heavily targeted to LTOs and new product launches in this very special time of the year. So again, thank you, Natalie, Marco, Bruna, and Casey for collaborating and bringing your expertise to this episode. And I appreciate you to listening to Synergy Flavors Trendcast. See you next time.